Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today we're looking in a little bit more detail into the 3D printing process. What happens when you place your order for a Space Engineer's ship to be printed. Now I found this extremely exciting, and I managed to get this footage courtesy of SpaceEngineersPrints.com, and it really shows you what exactly is happening behind the scenes when you press that button to order your ship. Now the first stage is, you've all guessed it, that ship being received by them. They're opening it up in Space Engineers and they're checking it out. So we've got the simple blue starter ship here, and all the models have been exported, and once it's exported into a 3D program where it's checked over once again, and 3D sort of problems where 3D printing wouldn't be able to process certain areas due to the size, maybe the modding of the blocks, could actually be found out, and you can actually have a look at the model there. So it's being rotated, it's being checked, being previewed, and we're going to actually bring it now into the 3D printing software. Now it's brought into this software, what's going to happen is we're going to actually lay the ships on the 3D printing bed, lay them out, so we can get a very efficient sort of print. We can use a lot of the material up at once, so we're actually layering them ships up, we're stacking them next to each other, and another one in, scaling them to be the correct sizes. So you can see we've got the purple ship, we've got two blue ships, we've also got the utility blue ship in here, and we're trying to get that maximum sort of efficiency out of that one 3D print. Now, when the 3D printing process actually begins, it begins by building them up in layers. So it's going to add the powder layer by layer, printing the ship into a solid object. So you can see here how we've got to space these ships out and make them perfect so there's no actual errors or situations. So we've got my purple alien ship in there, and we've got the rest of the blue ones. We're moving them back and forth. We're trying to get the spacing between them equally, and we've also got block size of reference. You can see we've got on the left side of the screen the block size and like a horizontal sort of view, so we can see the scale as we move them back and forth. Now this is the machine itself, and it's just finished printing that batch of ships, and as you can see we're actually cleaning up the exterior. They're cleaning up the exterior, getting rid of the powder, and then they start to break into the actual powder itself. Now, after watching this video, there's a lot of noise, so I've cut the audio out, but it was basically explaining how he's starting down at the edge, and he's delicately finding the part of the ship, and once he finds the ship, he starts to just gnaw away a little bit at it, pointing out one of the landing gears of the ships. He starts to gnaw away a little bit at it, sucking a little bit of the powder away, and here he's pulled out the ships and he's put them to one side. Now he's sucking a little bit of the powder off the ship, and he's just cleaning up the printing tray, ready for the next process. Now we're actually moving on to the fine detail and finding the fine detail area. So what we've got here is the actual machine, so he's going to lift up, stick his hands through there, stop the dust and the particles coming out and being breathed in, and he's cleaning up the ship. So we've got Henry here, he's being blasted with some high pressure air to get all the dust and debris out of his engine cells and so on under his landing gears. Just a really relaxing sort of process to actually watch. I found this. You can see how the powder's just flaking away under each of his engine cells and his landing gears towards the back. Just being a really sort of efficient and quite a time consuming process, to be honest. I mean, it's taken a lot of time to clean up each one of these ships by hand. We've got his rear there being cleared. We've also got the side engine cells once again, and just getting rid of some of that powder that's stuck within detailed segments of the ships. It's really nicely done. I just really enjoy actually watching this. It's just quite smooth to have with a little bit of audio, quite peaceful to watch, just the little parts falling out, dust flaking away. So he's now moved on to cleaning one of the astronauts, and this astronaut here waving its hand in his nice little red suit. He's doing quite a nice little job, and he's going to be a nice little desktop ornament for some lucky player out there. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of the cleaning process that I found quite relaxing. I'm going to come back in near the end and talk a little bit more. So now most of the ships have been cleaned to a suitable standard where all the powder is out of their engine bays and the other cells. They're actually moved to the next stage where a further layer of cleaning refines them to something that looks like this. Absolutely beautiful. And now this is one of my favourite ships that I actually produced. This was one I actually rushed to build because I was quite excited about building a troop transport at the time, and the way it came out in 3D printing with the orange and black absolutely amazed me. Now we've also got my alien ship here. That was quite an amazing little construction due to the triangles and the sort of shape and the different sort of cuts that are made into the shape and the texture. You can just see that purple works really well with the model, especially them connectors on the side, as well as the indent on the lower hull, as well as that container, just really finishing off that design. And in reality, the physical sort of texture and the feel of them is just amazing. It's amazing having a model that you've constructed and having it on your desk or around your room, just showing off some of your design skills. We've got another blue ship here in a different scale. Just a nice thing to have a look at. You can see the size difference. Since that bigger ship on the right is much larger, the scale has been sized down. We've also got a smaller scale blue ship to compare it with. Just a really nice, and this is the final sort of quality control inspection they're actually previewing here. So before these models are going out to someone, they're actually going to be previewed, going to be checked out, any problems. Oh, just look at them drills, look how textured and nice they look to touch. How cool is that one? I'm definitely going to have to build something with drills built into it just to get a nice textured sort of effect like that. So placing that down, we'll do a final pan across. So before printing my ship, I asked SpaceEngineersPrints.com for some tips and tricks, and this is what they came up with: 9 easy to follow tactics, or tips you could say. Now first off, respect the maximum block limits. Do not use black colour. Use only small blocks. No mods. Wheels and other moving blocks are acceptable, but they won't be moving in the final model. No interiors, apart from maybe little engine base cells and things that can easily be cleared out. Legs and landing gears need to be a sturdy sort of structure, like 3 or 4 landing gears, so it can stand steady on the table. Now the last 2 tips were block connection, so make sure you've got a solid block connection, so a 2 block rather than a single block between the connection points, and build only in one direction, so you've got a very controlled and very easy sort of model to print that won't require any extra or sort of custom process. So I hope you enjoyed seeing what happens behind the scenes at SpaceEngineersPrints.com. If you want any further information, I've got a number of links to them in the description. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.